15 insane things you didn't know about Pablo Escobar. Hey Trendies, it is a great day to be back with another flabbergasting video about a notorious billionaire. Are you guys ready? Today I bring you the understated facts about the life of a billionaire smuggler of his times. There are 15 insane things about this drug dealer you might not have heard earlier. Let me warn you, the video might leave you with mixed emotions. You will not believe your ears on the story of his rise to power. So, watch the video till the end and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell icon to keep updated of our upcoming content. Check out my channel and stay tuned to the forthcoming mind-blowing videos. Unless you've been out of contact with the real world, you must have heard of Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria. In short, Pablo Escobar, the king of cocaine. There is no surprise that Pablo makes it to the list of billionaires of the times when Colombia and cocaine are synonymous with his name. He is a billionaire, Robin Hood-like figure the world has come to know. Wonder what his net worth would be? 30 billion? Yep. Back in 1993, that is what his net worth was, which technically makes him the 7th richest man today in the world, and which is equivalent to $59 billion today. Early life. Escobar has not been a drug lord since he believed he was destined for eminence. Even as a kid, he would tell people he would become president of Colombia. Well, indeed, his plans changed while growing up. Pablo Escobar's origin is Rio Negro, born on December 1, 1949, in the Antioquia department of Colombia, and brought up in Medellin. He went to the Universidad Autónoma Latinoamericana in Medellin, but it was not long enough when he dropped out and began involvement in criminal activities. His criminal career is believed to have initiated when he started to resell the stolen gravestones to local smugglers after sanding them down to remove the engravings. Escobar eventually moved on, getting involved in running petty street scams and smuggling he could get his hands on, including fake lottery tickets and car stealing. Before entering into the drug business, he worked for different drug smugglers, abducting and detaining Medellin executives for ransom. Allegedly, he had a bank balance of 100 million Colombian dollars by 26. In 1976, Pablo established Medellin Cartel. He recognized the prospects of utilizing his smuggling routes to distribute powdered cocaine in the United States for the first time. In the following years, Escobar was in control of monthly shipments of 70 to 80 tons of cocaine into the country from Colombia, resulting in becoming one of the richest men. He owned 6 helicopters and a Learjet for conducting his cocaine operations, mainly between Colombia and Panama, and other smuggling routes into the US. Escobar and his men were arrested in 1976 for holding 18 kilograms of white paste, trying to return to Medellin. Soon, there was a rise in demand for cocaine in the country, and his drug network earned notoriety. In no time, he became known in the international market. He powered a large share of drugs in the US, Puerto Rico, Mexico, Spain, and the Dominican Republic and Venezuela. The rumor was that it reached as far as Asia after the United States and Europe. It resulted in raising Pablo's status from being a middle-class man to one of the world's filthy rich men. His production process also switched by replacing coca from Colombia to coca from Bolivia and Peru as demand for better cocaine rose. During the peak of his business operations, his company, Medellin Cartel, produced more than $70 million a day, ballpark figure $26 billion a year. He smuggled 15 tons of cocaine each day valued more than $500 million in the US. Enough with an introduction for a big name rolling in money. Many things have not been made known to the public about Pablo Escobar, and it is sure to leave your mind numb. Let's shed some light on the 15 insane things you never knew about the Godfather. He purchased a Learjet to bring his cash back into the country. It is said that the jet could carry up to $100 million per trip. On the way back, just so his plane could refuel, he bought an island. Later, he transformed it into a heavenly kingdom for himself and his fellow narcos. Luxuries of the Godfather included a 20 square kilometers of land that he invested in and transformed into a leisure house for his family beyond belief. The place was made up of a zoo within itself, filled with non-native animals that he acquired from all around the world. He even dished out $1 million to train Himalayan egrets to stay together in one tree. Altogether, he owned 800 villas and homes all around the world. Back in time when he was running from arrest, he and his army of bodyguards used a public bus to get from one safe home to another, and Pablo used to drive them himself. He found pleasure in pulling complicated and inhuman pranks and tricks. On one occasion, he asked one of his men to fetch him a cup of coffee, and he put an Alka-Seltzer, aspirin, in his mouth to create foam, and then he pinned the blame on the man for trying to poison him while the other man fastened him up and positioned a gun at his face for nearly 10 minutes. That's creepy. He was a sadist, would not be wrong even if he was a Robin Hood for some. At one point in his business, Pablo was in control of nearly 80% of the cocaine traffic worldwide. To hold up his cash, Pablo spent a minimum of $2,500 per month on rubber bands. Estimated by Forbes, his net worth is said to be around $30 billion, which technically makes him the 7th richest man in the world. But Pablo's son disagrees with that. Pablo had his money hoarded in every possible place, including the ground, in graves and cellars just to put things in a frame of reference. A rough calculation shows that he lost almost $1 billion annually due to natural hazards like water and fire, and nearly $500 million of his fortune every year was eaten by rats. One thing he saw fallacious in what he did was the fact that the government considered it illegal. He quoted, "I am a decent man who exports flowers." You may believe a person with that kind of power would be fearless, but Don Pablo's biggest fear was deportation for himself and his fellow drug dealers. They have been said to offer to pay Colombia's entire national debt that was a total of $10 billion back then. But the state declined to call a truce in their differences. His entire business resulted in $60 million per day, which makes over $20 billion annually. You might not be pleased to hear this, but Pablo Escobar was also a serial killer. He was held responsible for killing a large number of prominent people, including a justice minister, presidential candidate, and an attorney general. That is not all. The list goes on with thousands of police officers, hundreds of judges, and numerous locals. When he was stuck in the jungle while he was on the run with his family, he burned down $2 million for the sake of keeping his daughter warm through the night. While digging deeper into his personal life, it turns out that Pablo Escobar was 24 and his wife was only 13 years old when they first started dating each other. Pablo Escobar, the drug kingpin, the biggest narco of his time, was executed in 1993, and the United States reported Pablo's death as a massive manhunt of historical events. And here's a bonus fact for our followers. As a filthy rich parent, he filled up the piñatas with cash rather than candies at his children's birthday parties. Leave alone how fancy the parties he hosted would be like, whether for himself or his family. We strongly recommend you watch the Netflix series Narcos based on the legend to be well further informed about Pablo Escobar's rise to power, how he expanded it, and how he lost it all in the end. It is time to go for now, and Pablo Escobar is just one of those famous figures we talked about. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed this amazing video about the unknown facts about the world's wealthiest drug lord, Pablo Escobar. We will soon be back with more fascinating figures next time that will surely blow you right out of your senses. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share my channel. Hit that like button in the bio and ring the notification bell to get weekly updates directly from our home to yours.